Yes, welcome into the swing. Badgers getting ready for the red-white scrimmage coming up on Sunday. Then they've got some exhibition action, including a game against Oklahoma down in Milwaukee. The season not too far away, Jesse.
I'm excited. I'm actually going to take my 5-year-old son to the red and white scrimmage. I took him to one Badgers game a year ago, and he was riveted. Bucky Badger sat next to him. I think he might think Bucky is on the team, so
Okay.
we'll have to have him figure out how things actually work. But I'm definitely excited to see what this team has to offer because it's so new, and it sounds like it's going to be more of what we saw a year ago in terms of three-point shooting and offensive excitement.
Yeah, so they held their media day on Monday. Heard from Greg Gard, some players talked. You've got some stuff coming for Badger Connect, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. They had the local media day on Monday, shot a couple videos for our Badger Bites episodes and working on some stories as well. So you can check all that out at Badger Connect here in the coming weeks.
And if you are listening to this, we do have a YouTube channel. We put our episodes at the camp, our football podcast up there, but we also put the basketball podcast up there as well, The Swing. But you can just search for the camp. You'll find it, subscribe, and certainly will help us grow the show. The top 25 poll came out this week. The AP top 25 came out. Wisconsin in at number 24. I know some people were a little surprised that they were that low, but are you?
I mean, not really. It's a total crapshoot. How can anybody know what this team has or really any other team? I think it's an honor that they're in the top 25, that they're thought of in that regard for a team that you really don't know anything about other than Nolan Winterjohn, Blackwell, Jack Janicki, guys who played a year ago, but you're just trying to figure out how the pieces come together. So it means Wisconsin has a lot of respect.
It absolutely does. And the Big Ten is loaded. We know that. So it'll be a really fun, I think, throughout the season. But the reason we're doing a show right now, though, is because we have a new assistant coach to talk to. His name's Brad Davison. You had a chance to talk to him, do a story. He's been on campus now for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. Is that about right? And it's about that, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I hope he's caught up on his sleep because the way it came together in the flight from Spain happened in a matter of days, which we'll get into.
Yep. Can't wait to see exactly what this is going to look like. But yeah, we have Brad Davison. Here he is. And we do welcome in a special guest. It is new Wisconsin assistant, the special assistant to the head coach, Brad Davison. Brad, appreciate you jumping on.
Appreciate you guys having me. It's good to be here.
So there were multiple ways I could have started this, but I wanted to start this because I just find it hilarious. There is a woman up in Minneapolis who I think is kind of obsessed with you. Her name is Nadine. You know exactly what I'm talking about here. For some reason, the last 2 years, she has taken it upon herself to mention you as if you live rent-free in her head. And I wanted to throw some of these tweets up here because I find it hilarious that she puts it out there, but then you respond. So can you tell me what's going through your mind when you see a woman named Nadine celebrating a 2-year anniversary of you playing your final college game? It's a calendar like reminder so that she can remind herself to put out a tweet about it. You responded very, very fun, very, very hilariously, but you also did it again this year too, where she goes, turns out maybe downtown Minneapolis isn't as dangerous as they say. Oh, wait, Brad Davison isn't with them. We're good. And there's a Badger bus there. And you respond, still living my great life. I'm on a beach in Spain with my wife, my new child. Like, what is it like to have a woman and people just like that so still obsessed with you and how far you are in their head still?
Well, our team, we must have had an impact when we were here playing. I guess that's the moral of the story. Yeah, it's very interesting. I can't necessarily wrap my head around the ability to remain in someone's head like that. Those are tweets that I didn't even necessarily see, but again, I'm in Spain, and the first one I was actually on a beach. I was on the beach with my wife, celebrating an off day in between playing professional basketball over there. And next thing you know, I have all these texts from my friends in group chats, friends from Wisconsin, friends from Minnesota, like, do you know who this is? Why is she posting this? Why is it a reminder? I was like, I have no idea. And so I was like, you know what? When I was in college, I had, fortunately or unfortunately, had a lot of different tweets or mentions or direct messages. And I had a very strict rule for myself to never engage. So I never engaged. But now that I was out of the game, now that I was in Spain, felt really, really far away, far removed. I was like, you know what? Maybe it's time for me to have some fun with this one situation. So decided to do it, just posted it and then got offline. And then almost 365 days later, I guess we had to run it back. So I was just giving another update on where we're at, what we're doing, how many Big Ten titles we won while we were there, and how we did against the Gophers, and just moved on with my life.
Well, Brad, now you are back. What is it like to be back in this capacity?
Oh, it's a dream. It's a dream come true. I've always wanted to get into college coaching, dating back all the way to when I was in high school. When I was going through the high school recruiting process, everyone shows you their facilities, tells you about the style of play, all these different things. But one thing I covered with every staff that I talked to was their coaching tree and their coaching network. And everyone knew that my ultimate goal was I desired to come back and coach at the college level. And so to see that come to fruition at my alma mater at University of Wisconsin, for the staff pretty much that I got to play for, it means the world to me. And so to have the opportunity to come back here and serve the program, serve Coach Guard, serve these players, serve this community and this fan base, I couldn't ask for anything more. And I'm just ready to give everything I got to try to add value in any way that I can.
This has to have been such a whirlwind for you, though. I mean, you're getting ready to play your season over there, and then all of a sudden, you're back. And we were joking before you got on that hopefully you're caught up on all your sleep, considering that flight from Spain, how quickly everything came together. What have the last 2 weeks been like for you? And really, I guess even, for your family, because you got such a young family, and I'm sure this isn't easy.
Yeah, whirlwind, roller coaster, all of those adjectives, they probably fit the narrative. It all moved very quickly. We were in Alicante, Spain, preparing for our 4th year overseas. Both myself and my wife were under contract to play this upcoming season. We were living on the beach in Spain, again, preparing for our first games. And I got a call from Coach Guard on Thursday about how this could potentially be an opportunity. And I didn't think too much of it until Friday. He called back and said, this is an opportunity. A, do you want it? And B, is it even possible with your current situation? And I said, well, A, the answer is yes. This is what I've always wanted to do. It's where the school and the coaching staff and the program I've always wanted to go back to. So A, yes. Now B, I got my first regular season game tomorrow. We just got our home here in Spain, and I'm under contract. So there are some things I need to figure out. And he said, all right, we'll figure it out and we'll talk tomorrow. I said, all right, coach, sounds good. So had a lot of things to figure out. Ended up playing in my game that Saturday, first regular season game, and ultimately last basketball game. Sunday, made a lot of challenging, difficult phone calls and conversations with people there. President, GM, head coach, teammates, told them about our family decision to head back to here to the University of Wisconsin. Monday, had the opportunity to go tell everyone in person, give a lot of hugs, share some tears, have some of those last moments. Tuesday, packed up our place. Wednesday was on a flight back to Madison, and Thursday was at practice. So all within a week stretch, I went from getting ready to play 4th year professional to being back in the gym, taking charges on Coach Crab and guarding Nick Boyd in the full court. So it all moved very, very quickly.
Given how competitive you are, obviously this has always been your dream, as you said, but how difficult was it to give up a professional basketball career, especially at that time, even if you are going to pursue a dream?
Yeah, for me, playing professional basketball was never a dream or a goal of mine. Like I said, I always wanted to get back into college coaching. So I know some guys want to play until their legs fall off and make as much money as they can playing before they retire. But for me, I wanted to play until there was an opportunity that my family and I were excited about to come back and start this new journey. And again, these are conversations that my wife and I have been praying about, preparing for, and having for years up to this moment. So when the time came, we were prepared for it because of the foundation that we've had over the last few years and just the clarity and understanding of kind of what playing professional basketball overseas was for our family. With that being said, still loved playing the game of basketball. I still had that competitive itch. I was really looking forward to the season. And all those different feelings I had, there was some hesitancy on my end, but it was actually my wife who I went and told her about the situation and the opportunity and some of my skepticisms. And she said, Brad, when God opens the door to the opportunity of your dreams, you step through it. Doesn't matter what you're doing or where you are. It's not a question of if we're going to do it, but how are we going to make this work? And I said, okay, I'll follow your lead. She's never led me astray before. And I was like, all right, we're 2 foot in. Let's make the most of this. And even though we're ending a chapter of our story, for us, it's very much a new beginning to a book that we've been eager to start. And again, to have the opportunity to come back here and to serve Coach Gard and this staff and these players and this community. I keep saying the word opportunity, but for me, it's almost like a duty. Like it's like a call to serve. And for that, I'm super thankful, super excited for. And I say tough decision, but the decision was kind of made for me. It was an easy decision, an easy yes to come back here.
So much has changed about this program since you walked off the court in Milwaukee, in your final game. So much has changed in college athletics, but specifically for Wisconsin, offensively, what has happened since you left? How different is it for you to walk into that gym now than it was when you walked out of it 3 years ago, when the type of offense and the type of things that are being run?
Well, I hear Coach Gard saying faster, run, shoot it, good shot after a quick three-pointer. I didn't hear those things back when I was in the gym. I think I wish I would have. I would have gotten a few more three-pointers up in my day. But yeah, it's definitely changed. Different system, different strategy, different goals on the offensive end. And it's a credit to the staff for their ability and willingness to evolve with the times, but also a credit to we've had some really good players here over the last couple of years. And to have the players that are able to get up and down, but also still stay true to valuing the ball and making good decisions. So it's awesome. It was awesome to see as a fan, because it was really fun to watch and to follow the team, and now to be inside the four walls. It's even more fun to coach, because sometimes you just get to sit back and watch the show and see the talent of these guys and the experience level and the unselfishness. And it really just creates the opportunity for players to make plays. And when you have a lot of really good players, therefore you have a lot of really good plays made. So it's a great evolution. It's been so good for the program. Can't wait to see it even touch new heights this season. But ultimately what it still comes down to is the pillars of what Wisconsin basketball has been built on, of toughness and togetherness and valuing the ball and playing great defense. And so I know to the outside, a lot of things may have changed, but also when it gets down to the real nitty gritty, still with the Wisconsin.
Special assistant to the head coach is a title that leaves a lot open for what that could mean. When Kirk Penny was here, he obviously helped with that offensive transformation, given his background and experience. I know you're still figuring things out since you just got here, but what is your understanding of the expectations for your role in that title now?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest beauty of my title, is I can kind of find my own niche and find my ability to add value, maybe in ways that only I can because of my experiences, but also just look for opportunities to serve in a lot of different aspects of what we do here. Obviously, Kirk was brilliant on the offensive side of the ball and helped bring a lot of those changes with Coach Gard over the last couple of years. And when you make changes like that and you have the impact that he did, that impact will be long lasting. And those are things that we're just continue to add upon this year and for years to come. But for me, like I said, it's just to add value and to serve in any way that I can. Most importantly for me is I want to develop relationships with the players. I've experienced the highest of highs and some of the lowest of lows throughout my 5-year career. And I think that gives me a really unique ability and opportunity to relate to them in ways that maybe other people can't or haven't before. So when I look at my role, I think that's number one, is just being a resource off the court. And now in the very fine print of my contract, I also get to play on scout teams. So hopefully raise the competitive level and maybe the physicality in practice, getting to compete on scout teams. So I think there's a lot of different ways that I can add value. And that's the beauty of it, is I get to figure it out as I go.
When we talked to, or I should say we had Joe Krabanoff on the show in July, and we were asking him about all the new guys, all the transfers, and he actually gave you credit for putting them onto one of those guys in Nick Boyd, where you kind of just gave him a call. I heard this is happening. So you were helping the program before you even back here a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, what you saw, and then what you have seen from Nick here in this very short amount of time that you've been back?
Yeah, well, Nick's incredible. I think everyone's going to see his ability. I told him the other day, the Big Ten is different this year because you're in it. Like, I truly believe he's a difference maker in all essence of the word, because his ability to change speeds and play fast, but also to play under control and to control the offense. So all these different things on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, but also just the maturity and leadership that he's, again, I'm not going to say my day one's different than his day one. I've heard he's done it from day one, but also my day one since he stepped on campus. That's so important in that point guard position. And so to have experience at that position and the character that he has to go with his talent, it's going to be awesome to watch. College basketball, I love college basketball. I have a lot of different connections and relationships all over the board. And I try to take advantage of those in any way that I can. And so I watch a lot of games. I talk to a lot of people, and I got to watch one game of Nick, and I was just blown away with his ability to make a difference. In just the first 5 minutes of a game, I saw it on the offensive side, defensive side, the passion, the emotion that he played with, the toughness, a little bit of that grit factor, that grittiness that I think you need to be successful at this level, especially in this league. And so then just open dialogue with coaches. To play a little part in having Nick here is awesome. And I'm even more excited that it worked out, because now I get to see it with the best seat in the house.
What are your initial impressions of this team as you're still getting to know them? And what excites you about the on-court product from what you've seen so far?
And deep, talented, and experienced. I think that's one of the beauties of the new era of college sports with the transfer portal, is you're bringing in guys that have great experience from all over the country, different leagues, different levels, and then you kind of get to put the pieces together. And there's so much talent, so much experience, and what that leads to is gives you with depth. And the head man's going to have some decisions to make in terms of it's good to have too many people to play, to have so many guys that can make impact and so many guys that can make a difference. That's a really good problem to have. And so what that does is it raises the competition level in practice every day, because we have 15 guys roll the ball out there that are looking forward and eager to prove themselves, but also to add value to the team. So very deep, very talented, and then very competitive practices, which I think is going to pay dividends for us, not only here in October, November, but also in March, which is what we're preparing for.
You played with a lot of good wings and two guards, and you faced a ton of them, had to guard a bunch of them during your time at Wisconsin. When you look at what John Blackwell did last year, having to run the point, something that you had to do at times during your career as well, do you see him the ability to take advantage of what he was doing last year and take that into a new role this year with Nick, kind of maybe being on the ball more? Do you think last year that will help him this year and allow him to take that next step and that jump that a lot of people are hoping for?
No doubt. I think it just speaks to his versatility and his ability to take advantage of defenses in so many ways. Obviously had a great season last year, playing the point guard position, but also off the ball, being asked to do a lot of different things. And I think what that does for a player, speaking from experience too, when you get to play point, 2, 3, it just builds your confidence, because you hit so many different experiences and you figure out ways to add value, whether it's with the ball, without the ball, in ball screen, outside of ball. You get to learn how to play the game in new ways, and it almost just adds more tools to your toolbox. And so when I look at John now, he's got a toolbox that is just full, and he knows it. And he's a very confident player, and he can score at all 3 levels. He can create opportunities for himself, for his teammates. And also he's a physical, competitive player that can really add value on the defensive side of the ball. And It's going to be fun to watch. I'm so excited to see that jump because not only is he going to do it in the games, but he does it every day in practice. And when you practice at a high level and lead by example, that has a trickle-down effect from the top all the way through your roster. So I think it's going to be a great season for him, and I think it's going to be great for everyone else to witness the way he approaches and how he goes about his business, because he's a pro in all essence of the word.
Brad, when you got here, you really had to hit the ground running because practices had already started. Can you take us through what a day looks like for you now? And you mentioned relationship building is sort of priority number one, but how much is spent on film work or X's and O's breakdowns or some of those other elements as you go through a day now?
Yeah, I'm a big routine guy. And over the last few years of playing college basketball and then playing professionally, I had my routine down in terms of what made me the most prepared, the most confident for games, but also made me the most present with my family at home. So in all honesty, I'm still trying to figure that out and find the routine. But a typical day now is we have the later slot in the afternoon practicing. I'm an early morning guy, so I'm up early and I got garage workouts. I still have that. I don't know if it's a desire, but almost like a duty or responsibility that I need to stay active and sweat in the morning. So I'm doing that. Have my morning quiet time, have my coffee, and then I get to spend the mornings with my baby girl, which is amazing. So I get to spend mornings with Maya, with my wife, having coffee, usually listening to worship music and playing with some basketballs or blocks or whatever she wants to play with that day. And then coming into the office and connecting with people, usually trying to get in the gym with a couple of the guys, whether it's shooting and rebounding or working out with them, watching film of practices, connecting with the coaches, going over practice plans, just trying to schedule time in the day to connect with the guys to start building that relationship. And then obviously on court at practice, rebounding after practice, going home and making dinner and hanging out with my family. So still trying to figure out what the little nuances of that routine are. But again, just the priority of being present with my family and then developing relationships with not only the players, but the staff and everyone involved here at the Cole Center, which for me, to call it a job, you can't, because it's just something that I get here and I just smile because I get to connect with people and I get to do it in this building.
What is your long-term goal? You said you wanted to get back into college coaching. What's the long-term goal? Do you have visions of leading your own program someday? What is on your mind when it comes to that?
God willing, I would love to. And that's always been my dream and my goal is to become a head basketball coach at the college level someday, to have the opportunity to start my coaching profession here back at Wisconsin, to learn from Coach Gard and the rest of the staff, and to be back in the Big Ten. Like I said, is a dream come true. So for right now, I'm very content, just eager to learn, want to be a sponge. Again, want to serve and add value in any way that I can. And God willing, yeah, one day I'd love to be a head coach. But right now, it's all in due time and just being completely present and learning as much as I can, because I'll be the first to tell you I got a lot to learn.
Brad, I've got to know, you said you wanted to be on the scout team. I can't tell if you were joking or not. You made it clear to Greg that part of this role would be on the scout team. What is your performance like with the scout team? What's it been like going through that experience?
I just kind of got to dip my toe in. Usually I'm just involved in, setting screens or getting over screens at this point. So I just get rocked all day long by the bigs, but we haven't quite split into scout team and first team, when the season gets going. But it's going to be a new experience for me. I'm maybe one of the few, but I never got the chance to play on scout team when I was here because I was fortunate enough to be in the rotation right away as a freshman. So I never got the chance or the glory of the neon green light of scout team to just roll the ball out there and play. So really looking forward to it, eager to put on the penny and to get out there and compete, because I also believe that there is a lot of value in those scout team battles when you're learning what your opposition is going to do and tendencies and schematics. And I think you can add a lot of value when that competition's at a high level. So that's what I look forward to do. I look forward to pushing the guys, trying to raise that competitive level. And yeah, the beauty is I'm only retired 2 weeks. So if I've lost it, that probably says more about me than anything else. So hopefully I can still perform at a high level.
when you came in as a freshman in 2017, you're just talking about it, and getting thrust into the starting lineup, pretty early. I believe it was down in Kansas City when you guys were playing that tournament down there in the Hall of Fame. What has changed about Greg Gard since you showed up in 2017 to showing back up here 8 years later? How has he changed as a coach? How has he changed as a person? I can't imagine he's the same because the college game's not the same and he's had to adjust, I would assume.
Yeah, no doubt. I think it's very similar to what you say about the Wisconsin offense, right? You evolve, you kind of catch up with times, you interact with different people, but at this same time, what's made Wisconsin basketball so successful is staying true to who they are and who they've been. And I think that's the thing that I credit a lot to Coach Gard, is he's still the same person he was when he was recruiting me when I was back in 8th grade at Maple Grove. And I think that not only says a lot about him as a coach, but him as a person. And so that's something that I really admire and something that I'm really fortunate and feel blessed to be around every day and to learn from. Obviously, our play style, I hear him say some things now there was no chance I was hearing him say back when we were playing, in terms of shoot it, get it up, keep it moving. And I think, again, that's all for the better. But I think he's still very much the same person, values the same things. So it's been so good to be back and to witness it from this side, even though I'll be sitting on the bench, which wasn't always my favorite thing to do when I was playing for him. Even though I'll be sitting next to him, excited to witness his approach from this side. It's going to be so exciting. So I'm so excited to witness it, and it's going to be so fun to watch and be a part of.
You said you couldn't sit on the bench. We always heard you. We could hear you sitting up in the second deck. We could hear you screaming from the bench at guys. So you already had that coach gene in you a little bit.
No doubt. Yeah, I might have to turn my volume down a little bit. I can't be louder than Coach Gard from where I'm sitting. But again, like I've said, coaching has always been something that I felt called to. Even when I'm playing overseas, everyone's really excited, to learn about what plays, to see what opportunities you have to make, what you're going to run. And for me, I was just so excited to learn a different way to play basketball. And I would love to ask questions of why we're doing this, or maybe we should do this. What's the difference if they run this defense? I was just always wanting to ask questions. Yes, so I could perform better, but B, so that I would have an understanding for when this time came and for when this new chapter and new beginning was here. And so now that it's here, I feel so prepared, and I feel like I can hit the ground running, not because I have so much experience over the last 2 weeks, but because I feel like I've been preparing for this moment my entire life. So like I said, super excited, super thankful, and eager to serve this program.
All right. Hey, Brad, thanks for your time. Good to see you back in Madison. Looking forward to seeing the team on the floor here and your role as it continues to grow.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for having me. Look forward to seeing the Kohl Center soon.
All right, there he was, former Wisconsin guard, new special assistant to the head coach, Brad Davison. That does kind of sound like an office title, right?
Like from the show The Office?
Yes.
Yeah, as long as he's not special assistant to the special assistant. But yeah, either way, it's great to have him back.
It is very nice to have him back in Madison. He's always very reflective and will give you, thoughtful answers on your questions, and looking forward to seeing exactly what his role will be with this team as it grows, right? So the Badgers be on the floor. The public gets to see him for the first time on Sunday during the red-white scrimmage. Then again, they got their exhibition season. There are a couple exhibition games, and then season's not too far away at all. And I know, based on my messages, based on my DMs, based on my texts, that people are very excited for basketball season because it allows them to think not about football for a minute. So we do appreciate you guys listening. Jesse will be back soon. Until then, thank you.
Thanks, Zach. Talk soon.
All right, there he is. Jesse Temple from Badger Connect. You've been listening to The Swing.